Good morning, guys. I hope you are doing great. This is just a short video for you to remind what you did just in class with the teacher. So let's get started. Here we are in June. Here we are in June 2017, paper 3, question 4I, where they say the engine of a train of mass 250,000 kilogram works at a constant rate of 40 kilowatt. The train travels along a straight level track against a constant resistance of 15,000 newton to the motion of the train. Find A, the maximum speed of the train on the level track. B, the maximum speed of the train up a slope at sine inverse of 1 on 125 to the horizontal. So this is just the question. To follow up, those are just key things you must take note in this topic. So for the first one, when we say that there is maximum speed, constant speed, top speed, when we say that there's maximum speed, constant speed, and top speed, and uniform speed, it just means that the acceleration on the system that is applied is equal to 0. The second thing that you must know here is that you must draw diagrams for easy and clearly manipulation of questions, because when you draw a very good and straightforward diagram, you will see things beyond your nose. So for the third one, the constant rate supplied means that the power of the engine. So when you hear in the question, you see in the question that constant rate, it means that there's power that's occurring in the system. So constant rate simply means that it is the power of the system, the power of the engine. So the force is always given by power and velocity. Why? Because power is work on time. Work is force times distance divided by time is the power. So the distance on time there is velocity. So power is equal to force times velocity. We want force divided all through by velocity. So proceed. The first part just that to calculate the maximum speed of the train on the level track. So we are just saying that the train is moving along a straight level track with a mass of 250,000. So the force that is applied here is given by the constant rate, which is the power on the velocity, and the force that is always opposite to the force is the resistance. So the resistance is always opposite to the force. So the resistance is always opposite to the force. I'll repeat again myself. The resistance is always opposite to the force. So since the train is moving with the maximum speed, so the acceleration is equal to 0. So the force or the net force is equal to the mass times acceleration. The net force here is the force minus the resistance equals to mass times acceleration. The force here is power on voltage power on velocity minus the resistance equals to the mass. The acceleration here is given as it is 0. So the power is given as 40,000 watt divided by the maximum speed minus the resistance, which is given the equation equals to 0. So from there now, we simply multiply or cross multiply. So V will come on the right hand side, divide all through by 15,000 on both sides. So our maximum speed when the train is moving on the level track is given as 813 meter per second. So For the B part, we say just that the maximum speed of the train up a slope incline at the sine inverse of 1 on 125 to the horizontal. So it is inclined as you are seeing from this diagram. So the force here is given as P on V. The resistance always opposite to the force. We have here our weight, which is the center of mass. This is the center. The center of this mass downward is the weight, the normal resistance, and there is a force that is acting here and the force that is acting here. How have I got the force how have I gotten the force that is acting downward, as you are seeing from this diagram? So I will simply first of all take a simple example. If I have maybe this diagram as you are seeing, don't mind my diagram. I have an angle here, so maybe this angle here is x. This angle here is x. So I have my angle here, maybe I can take it as 30 degrees. The center downward is my weight. The normal resistance R, or you can present it as N. Voila. So if here is 30 degrees, you should take note that this triangle is a right angle triangle, so it's 90 degrees. So if here is 90 and 30, 90 minus 30 will give us 60 degrees. The angle on this side. So if it is 60 degrees, what is the angle acting on this side? Will be what, 30 degrees. Why? Because you realize that the angle acting from here to this plane is a right angle triangle, so here shall be 30 degrees. So you can assume or you realize that the angle here is the same as the angle here, so assume that the angle that is here will be the same as the angle that is here. So if I elongate it like that, I have that this angle here will be the same as that angle x, so the same as that angle. So from that I think it will be okay. So I'll now prove how have I gotten this mg sine x. Okay, let's move on. You realize that this force acting here is the same as that force. This force here is the same as this force, and there's another force that is acting downward. So this force, there's a force that is acting here, which is the same as this force that is acting here, and there's a force that is acting downward. So we have a force that is acting on this side, which is the same as the angle that is acting on this side. So let us proceed. If I let, because I could let this angle here be x, but I've already let an angle be x, so if I let this angle be maybe z, yeah, I let this angle here be y. So if I want this side, I have what? I have sine x because since why is this sine x? Because here is opposite, the opposite sign here. This big line here represent the hypotenuse, so I can write it like that, right angle triangle, as you are seeing here. So this face that is pointing in this direction means that it's the hypotenuse, and this side opposite. So if I want this side, I'll simply have an opposite on hypotenuse. So sine x is equal to opposite. The opposite was what? Z. Hypotenuse is my weight. It's my weight. My weight is given by what? Mg. So my z, if I cross multiply, will be equals to mg sine x. So what about this side here? If you realize that if you make the same procedure, because you realize that this side here will be what? Cos, because this you have an angle here adjacent hypotenuse. Adjacent hypotenuse is k from SOHCAHTOA, so you use cos. So this side here will be mg cos x. So it depends. So you have your question, maybe you can have a question that why is it that I've not used cos in this side or vice versa. Just that I've resolved it, as you are seeing from above. You resolve it to have the angle. So from this question, you are not going to use the mg cos theta y because there's no friction. If there's friction, you could use this force that is acting downward here. You could use this force to obtain the friction, if the friction was maybe precise in the equation. Yeah. Let us proceed. So you realize that the force that is acting here, the net force PV minus the two forces that's acting downward, we sum it and we subtract. So let me take it over. We take this, the force of the engine minus the sum of the downward force to be equal to 0. Why? Because the equation says in B2 that the maximum speed of the train up, so the maximum speed is included in the equation, so the acceleration will be equal to 0. So you have 40,000 on Vmax equals to 15,000. Assign it this way from positive to negative, plus m the mass, g10. Usually in maths we use 10 as the gravity, but the physics is 9.8. So from the equation we have sine x equals to 1 on 125. But many people will ask, why is that I've done it? So in the equation it said that you will see that it is instead sine inverse of 1 on 125. Is it so? Yeah, you realize that. So if I let x to be equals to sine inverse of 125, so it means that what? Sine x will be equals to 125. Since if I want maybe to find x, I'll take the sine inverse of 125, so it's the same thing. So x equals to sine inverse of 125 is the same thing as x sine x equals to 125, but in this case we are finding by the angle. So here is the sine of the angle. So if I want to find the angle here, is the sine inverse. Okay, let us continue. Yeah, then now you have the sine x, which is this angle times if you multiply clearly, you have this answer, meter per second. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it will help you. Have a nice day to you all.